My name's Christopher Raeburn. I run my own practice in East London with a real focus around what we call the 3 Rs. So we either remake, reduce or recycle, and that is it.
Well, in addition to that, I'll let you say it, since you probably know it best.
Yeah. So I'll be the new creative director for Timberland.
That's amazing. The brand, period.
Yeah. So working across, of course, footwear, accessories, and clothing as well. So
wow, that's amazing.
Real honour. Yeah.
When did the idea of the 3 Rs begin to sort of form? I mean, I know the 3 Rs is quite like an established vision that you have now, but was it sort of something that was planted from the very beginning?
The remade aspects of what I do was really what I was working on when I was at college. And that's all about deconstructing and reworking original military utility pieces and making them into something new, wearable, functional, contemporary. But if we only did that, it would be really difficult to have grown a business. Mm-hmm. And so we introduced the recycled element. We do fully recycled PET plastic outerwear predominantly in Asia, and then reduced, which really is a focus on organic cottons, local manufacturing. But back to where things began, the remade side of what we do, in fact, the first 5 years when I first started showing at London Fashion Week, that's all we did. Mm-hmm. I just did outerwear and I just did remade.
Okay.
And so it was really about kind of defining what I wanted to be known for. Mm-hmm. And it's still the driving force conceptually for everything I do.
So I want to know how and why you got into design in the first place.
I mean, I kind of came into the whole design world in a different way.
Yeah.
It wasn't a case of, that amazing brand that I remember from the 90s when I was growing up. It was really a lot more around just a completely very kind of geeky, fastidious love of function. And sometimes people ask you, what's your earliest memory of fashion? So maybe it's a similar kind of thing. And I remember my dad, who was quite eccentric, had bought this amazing German sleeping bag. 2 layers, quilted on the inside, waterproof, but it had sleeves and a hood, and you could zip it off here and tuck it up behind you and walk around like a snail. Right? But I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I remember looking at this thing and just thinking, that is absolutely amazing. Yeah. This thing that had been designed for kind of pure function, but it had this playfulness to it and this kind of charm to it, and it's never really left me.
So it was like the utility of it, but also the beauty of it at the same time.
Yeah, and the fact that it made you laugh, right, as well, because, the moment you could tuck it up and walk around, and it was, it's kind of this daft thing, but it had been designed with such a pure sense of function.
Right.
And that's what I try and do with the work that I do today.
We're sort of midway through this special week here in the Dominican Republic. Prior to you coming here, what was your impression of the Timberland brand?
My first impressions of Timberland really go back to when I was at the Royal College, and it was exactly the same time as 2005 where they brought out all the Earthkeeper wear. And because of the work that I was doing while I was studying, I was super inspired, by a massive brand that was so well known for making something incredibly high quality that was, able to last for a long time. Then also thinking in a really responsible way. Mm-hmm. And, it wasn't that long ago, but still 2005, there weren't a lot of brands kind of doing that. What's been super cool actually coming out here and seeing the factory is actually just, I've never been in a shoe factory before, the level of detail that just goes into every single product. Mm-hmm. All of the layers of course, leather, but then everything that's backing and all of the craft and quality.
Right.
And that's been the real eye-opener.
What I noticed was the emotion in the people that were making the shoes, and how I really felt like whatever they were going through that day was being filtered right into the shoes, from their face to their hands to the shoe. And it's like that shoe now going to wherever, New York, London, that emotion carries all the way. There's
definitely a lot of soul and a lot of pride, I think, as well, that goes into anything. And even kind of moving on to physically making the pieces, which we've been so fortunate to do alongside the real makers, because it's funny to be called a maker myself, but the truth is the skills in the factory here, right?
Right.
It's funny because people have been like, oh, that's a really cool boot you've made. I couldn't have done it without the incredible skills that are here.
Another overarching theme that I've been hearing throughout the week is this idea of boots beyond borders. Mm-hmm. It could mean many things to many different people. What does that mean to you?
For me, it's the spirit of adventure. Mm-hmm. I think it's also the reality that I always feel really fortunate that you're able to travel and see and do, and so many people aren't, for so many different social, political reasons. So it's really relevant, I think, in just a lot of different ways. So I loved it as a brief because it is quite broad. But yeah, above everything, I think it's a really current topic.
What do you hope to get out of this visit that you're able to bring back home?
It would be really difficult to leave somewhere like here without having an appreciation for all of those people out there that make all of our clothing and all of our footwear and all of this stuff, right?
Like thousands of people.
Well, of course, you know, millions of people globally. And I was very aware that fashion, manufacturing, clothing, all of this stuff that we make is the second most polluting thing in the world, right? After the automobile industry. But actually, if things are done right and they're done with quality and sold, that can be turned so quickly on its head. And if products are made really well and it's made with a workforce that care, you know, it's a really beautiful thing.